I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone had a good summer. We had a great summer. Divided Heaven was on tour the entire summer. We played shows in Canada, played shows in Mexico. We played shows all over the continental US, and we're hoping to go to Hawaii and Alaska at some point. We'll see. But anyway, we're not here to talk about tour anymore. We're here to talk about ta-da! The new Divided Heaven record. Fucking finally. This took a long time to make, but was worth every second. It's called Cold War. It was released by Wiretap Records here in Los Angeles and Paper and Plastic Records in Gainesville, Florida. And I want to thank Rob and Vinny for taking a chance on a little old hardworking rock and roll band like us. So yeah, Cold War was really started at the end of 2014. I started writing a lot of new songs with my friend Tim in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And then I put it on the back burner for a while, and then I met up with our friend and producer Charlie Stavish out here in California, and we started working on more stuff. So I'm going to put the record on for the first time. I hope it works. I hope my record player works. And we'll see how it goes. Here we go. First of all, can you motherfuckers hear me? I've got pants on, and I am Fredo. So this first song, Fire, was the last song that I wrote for this record. The record was done, and I met Charlie Stavish in Austin, Texas, and we were having some barbecue, and I was like, look, this record needs an intro. I don't know what it's going to be, but we got to do something. So meant to lead right into Home for the Summer. So can y'all hear the music all right? Can you hear me all right? Peter? Whoops. So when you've been doing Divided Heaven as long as I've been doing it, and you've already done 2 records that were essentially solo records, it was important that we put out a rock and roll record that really showcased what Divided Heaven is right now, which is a full band. And hence, these first couple songs, which are just pure rock and roll. Sweet bass line. Nice one, Charlie. Now, because it's my record, and I've done all my mail order, I'm going to keep more than one copy for myself. So the only copy that I had and opened was the one that's on the turntable right now. But I'm going to open another one here. And we're going to look at the inside. So that was Home for the Summer. This next one was called 1983. And this was one of the first songs that we wrote for this record. It was originally called Wargasm. I thought that was a little too off-putting. But this song is really about what Cold War, the record, really embodies, which is figuratively going to war with yourself, or with your mind, or with your ideas about what you should be or what you should have become. And for a few years, I was having trouble trying to re-identify myself as a touring musician after being someone who worked in the restaurant industry, worked in nonprofit, traditional office jobs, traditional gig jobs. And here we were as a band trying to redefine ourselves. And I still had this hook in my heels that was sending me back to my former lives. And this song was just meant to completely obliterate that notion, to break those chains of conformity, so to speak, and really just try to enjoy being a rock and roll musician in 2017, 2018. Oh, hi, Dominic. How are you? Hey, y'all. Talking about you, sorry. Oh, man. Listen to that drum. Okay, don't fall. Don't fall. Oh, man, we just missed the best part. So we'll talk about it with each song, but there were a couple songs that had guest vocals on it. This one, 1983, had Brian Marquis singing in the bridge with me. Let's rock out to this last chorus. Now, real quick, a little bit about the artwork, which was all done by our friend in Pittsburgh named Doug Dean. We had a number of images where we used this forever effect, where we have something and then the forever effect. Now, this person is my best friend, Alita Gagarin. She lives in Queens, and she was really the impetus behind this song that's playing now. The song is called The Daughters and the Sons, and I wrote it after I watched Alita get arrested for non-violently protesting at a Black Lives Matter protest in New York City. And she's a badass mother of three. She doesn't like me to blow up her spot too much, but I just wanted to give a little background about the song. Here we go. Nice. How's everyone doing? Is everyone having a good Friday? Yeah? Who's having more fun, the people on Instagram or the people on Facebook? I'm really concerned about that. Brian Forrest, this is a prequel It's in 1985, but I have to write a song called 1984 first. And you need to learn your numbers again, I think. You're welcome to look at my hair as much as you want. I did just get it bleached. Um, it's a little more Lars Fredriksson or messed than I anticipated it being, but I hope you like it. And if you don't like it, I don't really give a shit. Just kidding. So, this part with the pianos was played by Charlie Stavish. And when we get into the last chorus here, there's a female vocalist on there as well. And that's Stacy D from the band Bad Cop, Bad Cop, which is such an honor to have her on the record. She's badass. Her band is great. What's up, Neil Wayne? What's up, Will? Hi, Mom. Ryan, I know. I should have had the blonde for the video. Stephanie, that's a great question. Is Joey Briggs on any of these songs? In a way, he's on all of them because he's just omnipresent. But literally, he's on only one of them. But it's at the end of the record. We'll get to it. So this next song is called Love Letter to New York. I started to have these dreams a couple of years ago where in my dream I was in New York City. I was in the neighborhoods where I used to live. I was walking on the streets that I used to walk down every day. I was on the subway platforms that I used to wait for the train for every day. But it all looked different. And then I would go back in real life to these places and see that these places actually did change a lot relatively quickly. And it got me thinking about how so many people like myself moved to New York City. They have this idea of what it's going to be like to live in New York City, and they give their all to it, which is what I did. So I tried to write a song about the perspective of paying a lot of rent and giving my blood, sweat, and tears to a city that we, I think as Americans and even as people around the world, tend to really humanize, and we give New York a very specific type of personality, and to give it all of our love and adoration only to be met with indifference, it's kind of a tough pill to swallow. And it's almost as if my time in New York meant so much to me, but my time in New York meant nothing to the city of New York. That was kind of an idea that I was wrestling with for a number of months when I was having this reoccurring dream, and I turned it into a song. So Love Letter to New York. Sounds great on wax, by the way. Great. Again, for those just joining us, we're listening to the new Divided Heaven record, Cold War. Listen to that sweet solo. Scat it. Scat it. So that song, Love Letter to New York, was our drummer, Nick Morreale's favorite song on the record. This next song, which is called Dance with Old Habits, was the first song that we wrote for this record. It's deeply personal. It's tough to get into in a public forum, so I won't really do it. But I wrote it in 2014, right after Youngblood came out, and kind of sat on various versions of it and played it on various tours for a number of years across Europe and the United States. Excuse me. And the song really kind of grew to be the anchor of this record. I think Charlie, our producer, Charlie Stavish, and I really thought that it should be the anchor, the centerpiece of the record. It was a good blend of the older Divided Heaven solo stuff. It was a good blend of the newer Divided Heaven full band stuff. And it had kind of the traditional things that listeners would expect from a DH record, like kind of the vulnerability of the lyrics and the vocal delivery, the drive of the full band when it kicks in, and a good combination or mixture of the two. And we really built the rest of the record around what this song would become. Sweet Ham. She got sick, he got angry. If this was life, while making plans, but he wasn't there. Must have been distracted, or too hopeless to care. Or we won't understand the dirty sex. So, the piano on this song was played by a great pianist out of Richmond, Virginia, Daniel Clark, who was friends with our producer Charlie Stavish. Now, I know that Daniel really exists because I've met him before, but he's got like no social media trace. So if you know Daniel Clark, tell him that I said thank you for playing piano on our new record. That's nice. Oh yeah. You see, I was just one drink away from saving my life for you. Saving my life for you. Saving my life. What's interesting to me is that for a song like that, I think songwriters, they tend to lump songs together and It's really easy to write the same song over and over again, or to write a bunch of songs that sound the same, and to differentiate them is a task. But sometimes they're so different sonically, but they're still so similar in context or in aesthetic. And this next song, which is called Maybe We Should Say Goodbye, it's the last song. It's a deep cut on this side of the record. And I think that this one is kind of like the little brother or the little cousin to the previous song, Dance with Old Habits. This one was written around the same time and went through so many different variations until we finally got it right. The right key, the right delivery, the right feel, the right delicacy, the right balance. Still I'm also lonely in my inebriated guilt. Maybe we should say goodnight. As your world unravels and I lose what's left of mine. And so, really simple acoustic guitar. As I lose what's left of mine. Some reverb on those vocals. Some synthesizer pads to make it all nice and pretty. And I wish I was your favorite and last mistake. And I wish you were my only. Billy Brooks, favorite person. Billy Brooks is here. Well, thanks y'all for joining me. We're over halfway finished with this thing. Hopefully my computer doesn't die. But like I said, you're listening to Cold War, the new Divided Heaven record, with me, your humble narrator, Jeff Berman of Divided Heaven. Now, if you want to buy this record, or the CD, or a t-shirt, you can do so at dividedheaven.com. dividedheaven.com. You got that? All right. Now let's flip this baby over. So Charlie and I had this idea that when you start side B, especially after ending side A with so much mellowness, you gotta start side B with just right in the kisser. Here we go. This song is called You Will Never Get Rid of This. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, Charlie, you're right. I read something. Maximum Rock and Roll just said that electric guitar sound was the best electric guitar sound on a record ever. So, kudos to you. Yeah. Hey, Rob. Nice of you to join us. It's not like you're busy working at a big radio station or anything. So real quick, I want to talk about the actual wax itself and a little bit of the artwork. So, we got this done at Pirates Press. It's kind of transparent. If you hold it up to the light, you can see through it. but I think it was called Sky Blue. And it was meant to go off of kind of gray, subtle, the gray, white, black, and blue subtle undertones of the artwork itself. So Arrival City, our first record, had kind of a unique color scheme. It was a little bit blue, a little bit maroon, a little bit red, and a lot all over the place. But that worked for that record. Youngblood was very, very black and white. That was the point of that record. And the pressing for the records, we even did half black, half white. For this, we wanted to make it seem a little foggy, a little cloudy, a little uh, despondent when you would look at it. And that's how we ended up with this color scheme, with the contrast of the bright red. Now, that's the wax. The artwork itself and the concept around this forever effect, like the forever bomb, Alita's forever tear, was all done by Doug Dean, an artist out of Pittsburgh. He's great. He's done a few other records. Let me see if I can dig some out. I don't know where the other one is, but he did this Anti-Flag record, and I thought this was the coolest fucking cover I had seen in such a long time. So I emailed the dude out of nowhere, and I said, "Hey, Doug, I like your artwork. I think it really works. It helps Anti-Flag kind of stand apart. Again, it's really great, and it really matches the record perfectly. Would you want to do some artwork for some Divided Heaven stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure. That sounds great." So we met in Pittsburgh when I toured through, and had a really great conversation about where we could take these songs and where we could take the artwork to represent these songs. And the idea was that we were going to make it totalitarian, which maybe isn't the best way to describe it, but it's the Berlin TV Tower in Berlin, Germany. This is Nightlife Youth, by the way. Sweet solo. So, when I was a college student, I went to Berlin for a semester, and this TV tower is in the part of the city that was formerly East Berlin. And in that top part, it has a restaurant, kind of like the Space Needle in Seattle does. But it was built by the East Germans and subsequently the Russians during the height of the Cold War. And you see this grid on the bottom part of it. When the sun hits it at a certain angle at a certain time of day and you're looking from the west, it creates this latitudinal sphere of light, and it ends up looking like a cross. And the theory was that the Pope was siding with the East Germans and the East Berliners, and this TV tower was nicknamed the Pope's Revenge. Now, I shouldn't talk about that shit too much because we do have the word heaven in our band name, and fucking a lot of people still think that we're a religious band, and we're clearly not. We're heathens, we're atheists, and well, we're not heathens, we're good people. But anyway, yeah, the TV tower in Berlin, we thought that would be a great image, an iconic image that Europeans would know, especially Central Europeans and Germans would know, but maybe not Americans and Canadians would know. But it was really meant to be a stoic, iconic image that you look at, and to represent the kind of mountain of a process that this record was to make, and to kind of represent, hey, what's up, CDN? What's up, Joanna? Hey, Brett Trumper. Good to see you, bud. Tell Jax I said hi. We wanted something that really captured the weight of this record. It's not a heavy record in terms of heavy music, but lyrically, aesthetically, contextually, it's a very heavy record. And what's more heavy than just walking up to a tall structure, looking up at it as if it's a daunting task? So much love and credit to Doug Dean in Pittsburgh for doing this. Thank you very much, Doug. Now, along the motif of thinking that a city can move on without you, or a collective of time that you experienced in a certain place can move on without you. This next song, Delancey, is about that as well. It kind of is the sister song to Love Letter to New York, whereas New York is a little bit more uh, despondent or desperate or negative. This one's a little bit more positive. It's about a good memory I have living in New York City, being stranded in the Lower East Side because there was too much snow, and just walking with a friend of mine down these empty streets where there was nobody. So, my friend Steph was asking earlier about, is Joey Briggs on the record? Joey Briggs on the record. It's coming up. Oh shit. There's Joey. Yeah. So next up is the title track of Cold War. The song is called Cold War. And this song is riddled with professional professional wrestling references. I talk about baby faces. I talk about heels. I talk about kayfabe. If you don't know what any of that is, I'll just have to explain it. So, a baby face is a good guy. A heel is a bad guy. A heel turn is when a good guy turns into a bad guy. Now, kayfabe is the suspension of disbelief that you must have in order to understand what's happening in the storylines of wrestling. It's an old carny term that is still used to this day. So, the song Cold War is about me feeling like I don't belong in the generation that I was born into. Now, I don't know how old all of you are. Well, I know how old some of you are. I'm 36. I was born in 1982. My graduating high school class year was 2000. So I felt like I had all these expectations about being the class of 2000, the first class of the new millennium, right? But also the zero generation. So I didn't feel like I graduated from high school or college with necessarily the proper computer and tech skills that would later be afforded to the generation after me. And I also didn't get to kind of enjoy so much of the music I love in its prime of so many of the Generation Xers that came before me. I was kind of in this little bubble, and I still feel that way. So, We've got 2 songs left. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone on Instagram, hello. Everyone on Facebook Live, hello. Hello. So, as a songwriter, it's easy for me to write a song where I talk about how much I hate somebody or I dislike them. But to write a love song is pretty fucking hard. So I really had to work at it. But I wrote 2 of them, and they're the last 2 songs on this record. This first song is called Stay What You Are. So let's listen. And while we listen, I gotta fill some orders. Is that alright with y'all? I gotta fill some orders. What's up, Dizzy Monkey? How are you? Like me, that sentiment's from time. Whenever it's true, as we are in a polarized. I am what I am. Stay what you are. Like good, wax symbolic, fall flat ironic. Hey, Jared Hartstack. I love your photos, man. They're great. Thank you for your orders, everybody. Jay says from Mexico. What's up, man? Yes, my lovely wife, this song is about you. And the minutes we made almost died when we apart. I am what I am. Stay what you are. All right, everyone's still doing good? Oh, thank you, Tiffany. I just had a meeting with a new graphic designer last night. We've got some new shirts coming that are primo. Excellent. What's up, Mike? What's up, Day? So, again, my name is Jeff Berman. I play in the band Divided Heaven. This new record of ours is called Cold War. It's available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Bandcamp, Tidal, YouTube, everything. But you can buy it from me. You can buy it from our labels. And we appreciate your support. This last song is called The Getaway. Now, interesting story about this song is that I wrote it and recorded it, and I knew that I needed to have my friend Katie Neely sing on this song because her voice is the most beautiful voice ever. She's the greatest. So we had her sing some track on the chorus of this song, and we recorded it. And Charlie tracked it, and we did it to tape. And through the process of listening to it over and over and over again through the mixing process, I realized what the song was actually about. So it was as if it came out of me, but I wasn't really paying attention to what I was writing about. And what it was about me overcoming my petty, stupid, juvenile fear of getting married, and that I needed to propose to my then girlfriend, Kate, who is now my wife. Yeah. Coincidentally, hey, what's up, Mike? I ended up telling that story and singing this song at my wedding in front of my wife, my new wife at the time, and my friends and family. And it wasn't so much that it was nerve wracking, it was just that it was, I was just taken away at the power of the moment. It was so perfect, it was so right on. It's like I wrote a song about something that I didn't realize what it was about until I was listening to the mixes. And then to be able to play it at the most pivotal moment of your life, it was a special thing, for sure. Kiss my lips, take away this feeling. Finn, that's it. That's total. That's all. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Divided Heaven's new record, Cold War. Available everywhere online worldwide. Available through Paper and Plastic Records. Available through Wiretap Records. And also through Ya Boys and the band Divided Heaven. DividedHeaven.com. Pick it up now. A few more things about the record that, quite frankly, I fucking forgot to talk about while the songs were playing. Is that we recorded this in Joshua Tree, California, at the Clock Tower Recorder. We did some tracking also in Los Angeles at Charlie's. We also did some pre-production in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania a long time ago. But when we tracked it with Charlie, we did it to 2-inch analog tape and mostly mixed it and tracked the rest of it back to the board and then drenched it in a lot of analog gear. Now you might be wondering, what the hell does that mean? What is analog gear? Well, analog is how people used to make records before computers created all these programs that made it much easier and more streamlined to make music. Now, using computers for music is great. It's easy, it's fast, it's efficient, it's a lot easier to save things. Like I said, it's very, very fast. But we had this idea to not really rush anything. So Cold War was the product of about 2.5 years worth of time and about 1.5 years worth of writing songs. Writing songs myself, writing songs with my drummer, Nick Moriali. And I do want to thank Nick, who's the best fucking drummer in California. I want to thank our old bass player, Ben, for being such a good trooper for all these years. I want to thank our new bass player, Derek, for making Divided Heaven sound fucking better than I ever thought we could and better than I ever imagined. I want to thank Daniel Clark, Katie Neely, Joey Briggs, Brian Marquis, and Stacy D for lending their piano talents and their vocals to this record. And I also want to thank my good buddy Micah Gagarin in Queens for some photography help. Also want to thank Shawnee Lead for her photography help. Of course, Doug Dean, who did the artwork and put everything together. I want to thank my wife for not killing me during this process. And I want to thank all of you who have ordered the record, who have heard the record, listened to it on Spotify, listened to it on Apple Music. Literally every little bit helps. And it's awesome that this record is finally out, and we're not promoting a record that's about to go into kindergarten. Youngblood came out in 2014, which is mind-boggling. So now that it's 4 years later, it's nice to have not an EP, not a single, not a digital single, not anything that's super limited edition, but a brand new LP. So again, thank you all very much for supporting Divided Heaven and for listening to Cold War. And I encourage you, please, whether you like this record or you don't like this record, by the time it hits your turntable, you will fucking love it. So thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Visit dividedheaven.com for t-shirts, CDs, and LPs, and we will see you next time. Mwah. Mwah. See ya.